make a video about being a media obsessed Zoomer, and as such, what's involved is the sort of uh, what even is, because media is just kind of like distracting yourself with shit, right? And like not doing what you need to do, which like I need to do homework and there's a car that I need to have repaired and shit like that. And I need to apply for a job so that I can get a positive cash flow. Yep. Um, but for now, what I think I'll do is I'll sort of be in a reclining chair where I take a rest on the metaphysical part of life. Physical part might have some sort of part in, but as for socializing, I'm not about that. I'm watching this show called Archive 81, and she's talking to this guy Samuel. There's a plot to this show. It's interesting because it's one of those found footage things where this guy in like the 2010s finds this 90s tapes. Well, he's told to repair them because they were in a fire. Creepy. And but the plot itself switches between the found footage style and like a third person omniscient of what the plot actually is. So in a way it sort of suspends disbelief and like, oh, I don't think he actually found the tapes, but in the first place you're like, oh yeah, this is acting. This is a guy acting and he didn't actually find the tapes. Like it sort of reminds me of House of Leaves in that respect, because that's like there's different fonts in that book and it's about this guy who found these documents about a movie, an analysis of this movie written by this guy Zampano, and he's this guy Johnny Truant from Los Angeles, and it's this. The book is about him analyzing uh, the sort of paper that Zampano wrote, right? This is getting too meta because I'm doing meta about meta, but meta alongside that, unrelated meta about what is patience, basically. This is a video. What is patience? What is like they call it one of those M words. Imminence, impatience. Are you improvising, in interpreting, impressed, immersed? Are you immersed in this video right now? Are you having a good time? Are you believing that, like, oh, this is a video that I'm watching and I gotta watch it right now, and it's like part of your life and you're like, gotta watch all this video? Shit. That's a weird thing for someone to say, oh, they have to watch this video because this person is involved in it. And I have some sort of like, I value this person's opinions or something, like I like having this person's information, or just I think they're a pretty cool guy, or something like that, because I was the reason that I came up with this video idea on, I guess it's going to be called uh um immersion and impatience, uh the general scope of mass media and how it matches with our neoliberal capitalist culture, and how that there's an economic cultural sort of trade away between relationships and exchange and ability and empathy and stuff like that, because, like as a kid, you're like, people are able to do things much more than I am. And, and it's basically, throughout history, you can argue, it sort of informs a lot, even Hermes Trismegistus. Sorry, I just randomly mentioned Hermes Trismegistus. Even the basic sort of understanding of society, it's this sort of battle between, the self and the community, right? Between, you know, your relationships with others and your accomplishments in the outside world, or between your relationships with one relationship and another relationship, like Romeo and Juliet, right? On some level, the sort of actualization of the self sort of meets these sort of fractures, these sorts of schisms, which we understand even like on a primitive social hunter gatherer level. There's these social mores that we have to like align with, but then we also have our individuality, which is how we like, maybe we come from like an agricultural society, but we're like, fuck that, I want to become a fisher, right? And there's certain ways that society makes us kind of, you're an apostate or something like this, or like, I hate these gypsies or something like that, where they try to, and you do it too, you try to like say, stay in your lane, do this and do that. And this is a really broad video, I guess, on like basically, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to do with your life? Do you want to become a header? Do you want to become a writer for Hollywood? Why do I keep doing that voice? That's another question. I'll address it in another video. But it's a basic sort of interface between impatience on the one hand and immersion on the other hand. And you can become immersed and impatient at the same time. Like if you're waiting for something, that's where those two kind of like link up. Like this, they're like simpatico. They're blood and water, whatever. Oil and water, not oil and water, but or you can say immersion over impatience, So now you're patient. Now you're kind of like waiting to see what happens, right? Or you could say impatience over immersion, which is kind of like boredom, existential ennui, and it kind of gets this negativity in your head. But then you can kind of sync those up again suddenly, which is when impatience and immersion are in a different way. It's not impatience with respect to an outside thing, it's impatience with respect to yourself. It's impatience saying, oh, God, fuck, oh, I hate myself, something like that. And that's unhealthy. But you're naturally going to have differing opinions about yourself. And you can't just, sort of quash any sort of uh, dissatisfaction in your life. You can't just say, oh, I'm just going to go with the flow, go along with how other people feel, because then your head will naturally sort of like erupt. It gets into this sort of conflict, as I said, between, people and things, between you know others' goals and others' feelings and what they want and what you want, or what this group wants and that what that group wants. And you might be part of both groups, like say the prototypical um you and your significant other, and then you also have one of your friends is staying over, and you're like, I like my friend, but this is causing, we can't live together like this. Or even like my family, right? We have this thing where There's five of us in the same house, and I'm 22. My brothers are 25 and 30, right? So we really need to get the fuck out of the house under the sort of past understanding that the boomers, they moved out of their house. Like my grandma moved out when she was like what she was like 20 when she had her first kid, right? I'm 22. I couldn't think of having a kid. Well, I could think of having a kid because I'm retarded, but um I'd do it right away, like bum bum bum, I did it. Giuseppe Italiano, let's have a family. You're gonna join the mafia. I would happily be like the deadbeat dad in the host, the Bong Joon Ho movie, who also he made the movie Parasite that got the award. Watch the host. So I don't know. I guess this is both accounting and escapism at the same time, which they shouldn't really be, the same, because you shouldn't have fun when you're doing work. I think that's a good principle. I think I'm opening I think they should be separate, roughly. Though I did watch the Samuel L. Jackson movie where he cleans up dead bodies and he's framed for a murder almost. Um Man, I'm so easily distracted now. I'm thinking who was the wife in that movie, because she was pretty cute. Uh this is why you can infer what these gestures mean. I'm not going to explain them because that will get me in a whole, other. Fuck. But should escapism, which is kind of like immersion, and accounting, which is sort of like parallel to impatience, um, should they be on the same plane? Ideally, they can be, but they can't always be, right? But ideally, you should make it so that, you like what you do, even if it's like boring as shit. That's probably what the Chinese would say, with like filial piety, li, chi, shua, he, shua yi, or. I'm not Chinese, okay? I'm not Chinese, okay? God. Why do YouTubers talk like this? Where it's like, oh, I'm yelling at you, I'm ranting at you. Stop, stop, stop. Can you stop? Can I have a different thing? Please. Please click off this video right now. Click off. Click off to someone like more peaceful, who talks more like this and doesn't like yell at you like you're some sort of like, you know, hello, squeeze ball. How are you? Even Mr. Beast does this, where he's like, hey guys, we're gonna be like blowing up, sort of like, I'm gonna be digging myself underground, and I'm gonna be like 20 feet underground. And it's like, oh damn, I should be able to do like Mr. Beast. I could bury myself alive tomorrow. Just get a few friends to do it and get the oxygen tube in there. I'd imagine if the oxygen tube didn't work, oh, you'd feel real stupid then. Jesus Christ. That's a memorable video of him burying himself alive. That's pretty memorable. Um Sorry, I'm thinking about that video. Anyway, I'm gonna collect my thoughts. So, Carefree Wanderings is a YouTube channel. I won't talk about that YouTube channel, but it's like the word that came to my mind to kind of like put a cap on like this whole shit with like encapsulating everything in life and all my opinions about them all at once, right? So Carefree wandering is. Uh, I put this idea to my friend, right? That basically all of life is like problem and solution. Then fun, basically, what it is that you have the solution first, which my solution is making this video. And the problem is where you come up with a topic to sort of explain and you sort of flesh that out, like Jonah in the belly of the whale, right? Or like Samson and the bees that made honey in the tiger's skull, right? It's occupying a certain shit. It's a vibe. It's the Vibe Shack. It's like, honey, Vibe Shack. You know, like, what are you doing? Like, come on, let's have fun. Let's Spotty! Oh god, I'm so cancerous. This is why the gay agenda is. God, fucking the gays. They're too influential. Too influential. Too influential. I only have one cup of coffee. But carefree wandering is that aspect. The problem to the solution is fine, right? That's kind of like impatience. That's kind of like accounting. Doing what you need to do. Doing what you've already set out what you need to do for, right? This is like Jordan Peterson said chaos and order, right? And this is order. And doing, what's predictable in life. It's like, something that's predictable so you can kind of organize around it. It's the masculine energy as opposed to the feminine energy in life. And then you have like fun, right? Which is where the problem comes after the solution. It's prototypical. It's like jokesterism, right? You can't explain jokes. It's just, you know, the problem of how to explain comedy comes after comedy. And it's a problem because you shouldn't explain comedy. Who the fuck wants to do that? It's just fart noises, okay? All that comedy is fart noises and being mean to people and killing yourself. That's all that comedy is. And comedy is a bad force for society, just like everything else, right? Everything is bad because good and evil don't exist. Um in a relative sense, in an absolute sense, good and evil don't exist, but your intentions can sort of go more towards them over time. But good and evil don't exist as absolutes because there is no good or evil person absolutely. We vet ourselves, we improve ourselves. Be better, honey. Do better next time. As someone on Twitter, someone on Twitter would say, as they, I'm an asexual indigenous rights activist, uh, transracial, from Connecticut, Hartford, Connecticut. My friends are all otherkin, and we're all furries, and we're all sort of trans temporal anarchists, and we also don't like cleaning our rooms or using the wrong type of toilet paper, which is why we have anxiety if we go outside. The internet is cool. The internet is cool. I love clapping. I just found out I love clapping. And if you don't like that, then I don't know what to tell you, honey. Oh, shit. Honey. 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 This is not it, honey. I love saying that. I loved saying that. Oh, shit. Shit. This is not good. Y'all got me acting up. Y'all got me appropriating black culture, gay culture. This is not it. I am currently cringing inside because I do not know what I am doing. It's so fun. It's so fucking stupid and so fun. Um, I think I covered it all basically, but that's basically where we exist is in the gloopy glop of uh, do this or do that. I don't know, and it's media and it's meta and it's all constructed and you can see the constructs and then you're like, should I engage, should I not engage, is this the right choice? And it's like postmodernism, whatever, postmodernism, whatever, and you choose what you choose, and that ends up being your reality. You know, good or bad, or for better or worse. God, reality. That's the God, reality. I just realized reality is a thing. Oh no. Oh no, sorry. Oh shit. Oh no, reality is a thing. Real things exist. They have impact on me, and I have to, like, oh no, my actions have consequences, and I have to have a life. Ah!